Hi, I'm Sarah DeVore. I'm a family nurse practitioner with Buchanan County Health Center. I work at Medical Associates and in Urgent Care. The flu this year, obviously, we are hearing a lot about it in the news and just seeing a lot of it in our community currently. It's like every other year where we, December through February, see a lot of influenza A and influenza B. The best thing that you can do to prevent yourself from getting this is to get immunized. Unfortunately, a lot of people choose not to do this. And I would say that news reports have communicated that this year's flu vaccine is only about 10% efficacious. But there is a big difference between those who are immunized and those who are not. Those who are not immunized typically come in with more severe symptoms, and they typically do last longer than those who have been immunized. So while it may not always prevent you from getting the flu, it can help with the severity of your symptoms and certainly how long you have those symptoms. So it's still a good idea to be vaccinated, and it's still the number one way to prevent yourself from getting the flu. Other things you can do, obviously, are make sure that you're adequately hydrated, that you're getting plenty of sleep, that you're avoiding crowds that you know are infectious, people you know that have the flu. Just try to steer clear. And then ultimately, good hand washing. It's going back to the basics in order to prevent first receiving it. So that's where you start. Typically, symptoms of the flu consist of cough, fever, and runny nose. Those are kind of the triad of symptoms. Sure, you can have other symptoms to include body aches, headaches, sore throat. People come in with a hodgepodge of things, but typically flu cases are seen with at least those three basic symptoms, and that's a runny nose, a cough, and a fever. If you have those symptoms, it doesn't hurt to get checked out. Whether or not you'll be treated with an antiviral like Tamiflu really depends on your age and other health issues that you have. People who are under 2, those over 65, and anybody in between who has a chronic health issue, whether you have cancer or some type of a blood disorder where you're not able to fight off infections, or you're pregnant, or you're around people that meet those criteria, it's always good to be seen because you may need to be treated with something to help with that. Obviously, if you're not in that category, but you notice that your symptoms are getting worse, and you're starting to feel more achiness, and you're not able to stay hydrated, and a fever that's not responding to medicine or cool baths or whatever you're doing to lower it, that's another reason to get checked out, because dehydration and just cardiac compromise can happen, and you need to get checked out if you're feeling progressively worse. Whenever in doubt, it doesn't hurt to get checked out, is what I would say. You know your body. You know that, you hear stories about young people and middle-aged people succumbing to the influenza virus, and you think, oh my goodness, is that going to be me? Is that going to be my loved one? And I think it's important to listen to your children if they're reporting progressing symptoms, or you yourself are experiencing that. Fluids sometimes can be so restorative, so don't hesitate to come in if you think you need to be seen. But if you do think you have the influenza virus and you are an otherwise healthy individual, it doesn't hurt to just stay home, self-treat, and go from there too.